Hello everyone, in today's class I am going to teach you the method of calculating the amount of stationery consumed during the year in a not-for-profit organization. Let me work out a problem to understand the method. Right, first I read it out the problem and then explain and work it out. Right, what is given in the problem is extract of a receipts and payments account for the year ended on 31st March 2015. Right, they have given some details which are extracted from the receipts and payments account. Below that they have given payments. Stationery, payments for stationery 23,000. Payments for stationery 23,000. Apart from that they have given us some additional information in a tabular column. Details 1/4/2014, 31st/3/2015. Under details, stock of stationery, 1/4 means opening, 31st/3 is closing, right? Stock of stationery 4,000, 3,000. Creditors for stationery 9,000, 2,500. Right? They ask us to calculate the amount of stationery consumed during the year. Right? Stationery consumed means used during the year. Right? In the absence of these particulars, we can consider that this is the actual purchase and consumption. The amount of stationery, right? Payment of stationery is the actual purchase and consumption if they have not given these values. As they have given these values, we cannot consider that this is the actual purchase. We need to calculate. We need to calculate the amount of purchase and value of consumption made during the year. Value of purchase and value of consumption made during the year, right? Stock of stationery, opening, closing. Creditors for stationery, opening, closing. There are two methods to calculate. First, let me work out and calculate the answer by using the format based method. By using the format based method, this is what most of the students will follow to calculate the answer. Calculation of amount of stationery consumed. Right? We should write the heading below that. How much is paid for stationery during that year? 23,000. Right? The amount paid for stationery is 23,000. We should take this. Payment made for purchase of stationery. Payment made for purchase of stationery 23,000. This will be available in the payment side of the receipts and payments account, right? And then we should add creditors at the end. First we should calculate the credit purchase or purchase made during the year. Then only we can calculate the stationery consumed during the year or used during the year, right? Creditors at the end. What is the value of creditors at the end of the year, right? 31st/3. Creditors for stationery at the end of the year is 2,500. This must be added, right? Payment made for stationery plus amount not yet paid till the end of the financial year. Till the end of the financial year. Amount not yet paid till the end of the financial year. That must be added. 25,500. Then we should subtract, right? Creditors. The creditors in the beginning. Right? Opening creditors must be subtracted from the total. Right? 25,500 minus 9,000. Then we can know stationery purchased for the year. How much of stationery purchased for the year? Right? The value is 16,500. After calculating the purchase value, then we should add opening stock of stationery with the purchase. Add opening stock of stationery, right? 4,000 rupees. After adding this, right, we have 20,500. Then we should subtract closing stock of stationery. We should subtract closing stock of stationery, which is 3,000. If we subtract this value, 3,000 from 20,500, then we get 17,500. This is the stationery consumed during the year or stationery used during the year. Actually, this is format based method. You cannot easily understand the logic, whereas you can remember this format, but it will not last in your mind, right, for a longer period. This is purely format based, right? This is purely format based, which must be added and which must be subtracted in both the situations. And you can easily memorize this, but you will forget this soon. If you learn the same thing using the rule-based method, accounting rule-based method, you will never forget. Even after many years of learning, you will be able to remember it or recall it very easily, right? Let me work out the another method, right, which is used by the accounting rule. Now let us see the alternative method, right, for calculating the amount of stationery consumed. Here we are going to use the accounting rule for calculating the amount of stationery consumed. They have given us creditors for stationery and stock of stationery. By preparing ledger account, we can calculate, right? By preparing ledger for creditors account, we can calculate the credit purchase. We can calculate the credit purchase made during the year. Like that, by preparing stationery account, we can calculate the amount of stationery consumed during the year, right? Let us first prepare creditors account, creditors for stationery account, right? This you would have studied in accounts from incomplete records itself, right? Accounts from incomplete records, there you used this method for calculating the goods, right? Goods purchased, whereas here stationery purchased on credit basis. Creditors is a liability, which means at the time of purchasing the stationery, we would not have made payment, right? At the time of purchasing the stationery, we would not have made payment, right? We will pay the money on a later date as per the terms and conditions made with the suppliers, right? Since this is a liability will always show credit balance. Right? They have given opening and closing values, right? This opening balance must be written on the credit side of the ledger account, right? We should write the opening balance on the credit side, right? Buy balance brought down 9,000 rupees. And the closing value will appear on the debit side, opposite side. Closing value will appear on the opposite side, 2,500. This is the amount to be paid in the beginning of the year. This is the amount to be paid in the beginning of the year. This is the amount to be paid at the end of the year. During the year, the organization has paid 23,000. During the year, organization has paid 23,000, right? This is the amount to be paid, right? Whatever is paid during the year must be debited because we want to reduce, right? We want to reduce the amount to be paid, right? This is the closing value. Just opposite to opening, we should write the closing value in the opposite side or debit side here, right? Then we should close the account. We should see first in which side the total amount is high. Naturally, by seeing, we can understand that this side, right? Debit side, the total amount is high. If we add, we will get, we have 25,500. 23 plus 2,500, 25,500. Write the same total in the opposite side using the ledger preparation rule, right? If you subtract 9,000 from 25,500, you will get 16,500. This is the actual credit purchase made during the year. After calculating the credit purchase by preparing creditors ledger, we can proceed further to calculate the amount of stationery consumed during the year, right? Next, we are going to prepare stationery account. They have given one more particular, right? Stock of stationery. Stock of stationery is an asset, right? Stock is an asset. Assets account will always show debit balance. By adjusting the asset values, right? Stationery values, we can calculate the stationery consumed. Opening, even here we should understand practically, right? In the beginning of the year, we have to give 9,000 rupees, right? During that year, we have paid 23,000. Even after paying this 23,000, we still have to pay 2,500 at the end of the year. In the beginning of the year, we had to give 9,000 rupees. During the year, we have paid 23,000. Even after paying this 23,000, we still have to pay 2,500 rupees. Then this makes us to understand that we have purchased more, right? We have purchased for some other value. By just adjusting this values, we come to know that we have purchased for 16,500. We had to give 9,000, whereas we have given 23,000, and then we know that we have to pay again 2,500. See, it simply makes us to know that we have purchased for 16,500, right? This is account based, right? Liability will always show credit balance. Just opposite to the opening balance, we should write the closing balance in the debit side. Whatever is paid during the year should be debited because this is the amount due, this is paid, this is balance, this is the amount for which we have purchased, right? This is accounting rule based method, right? Next, stationery. During the year, see, here opening stock of stationery. Opening stock of stationery, closing stock of stationery is there. 1/4 is opening, 31st 3 is closing, 4,000. Assets will always show debit balance. Assets will always show debit balance. By using that rule, we debit the 4,000 rupees. We debit 4,000 rupees in the stationery account. Two balance brought down. Two balance brought down. And opposite to the opening balance, we should write the closing balance in the credit side. Buy balance carried down 3,000 rupees. Right? If we write the opening balance in the debit side by using the rule, simply we should write the closing balance in the opposite side. Simply we should write the closing balance in the opposite side, right? If you have any doubt, you please refer my debit credit rule video. There I have explained this, right, in detail. Then whatever was the amount purchased during the year, right? Credit purchase made during the year is 16,500. This should be debited. Credit purchase 16,500. Initially, we had 4,000 rupees in stock. Initially, we had 4,000 rupees in stock. Further, we have purchased for 16,500. Initially, we had 4,000 rupees in stock. Further, we have purchased for 16,500 rupees. Totally, 20,500 rupees of stationery was available in the organization. Whereas, at the end of the year, we come to know that we have only 3,000 rupees remaining in the stock. We have only 3,000 rupees in the stock. Then we can simply understand that the balance are this amount is the actual consumption. This amount is the actual consumption made during the year. So here we have to balance this account, right? This side the total is high, 16,500 plus 4,000, 20,500. Write the same total in the opposite side. If you subtract 3,000 from 20,500, you will get 17,500. This is the actual amount of stationery, value of stationery consumed during the year or used during the year, right? Opening balance, closing balance. Why do we record the opening balance in the debit side? Assets will always show debit balance, right? Assets will always show debit balance. Just opposite to the opening balance, we should write the credit balance, right? This will not reflect the nature of the account. This will not reflect the nature of the account, just opposite to this, because we are going to, at the time of balancing the account, we will be calculating the carry down. Since both the values are available in this problem, some other value is the missing, and we have calculated by adjusting the ledger account, right? Opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock. Opening stock of stationery plus purchase of stationery minus closing stock of stationery is equal to stationery consumed during the year. Opening stock plus purchase minus closing stock is equal to stationery consumed during the year. This is what we followed in the format based method. Even here, payment made for stationery plus creditors at the end of the year plus creditors at the end of the year minus creditors in the beginning of the year. Creditors in the beginning of the year is equal to credit purchase. Right? From this, you can recall the format based method. From this, you can easily prepare, right? Even after many years of gap, you can easily recall just by knowing the accounting rule. Liability will always show credit balance. Assets will always show debit balance. Expenses and losses will always show debit balance. Income and gains will always show credit balance. Based on the accounting rule, we can calculate the missing value. From that, we can proceed to the answer. This is the amount. This should be shown in the income and expenditure account. That is why we have written here income and expenditure account. This is the actual amount of stationery consumed during the year. This is the actual purchase, credit purchase made during the year, right? I hope that you all would have understood this clearly, right? If you like this video, kindly subscribe and share this video to your friends and relatives and turn on the bell notification, then only you'll get notified. See you in the next class.